I was telling you a little bit earlier, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the FUD, the sentiment overall. Um, we've thought, or I've thought, that things have been going to get better a lot sooner. Knowing full well that it probably will get worse before it gets better, and seeing that it's getting worse and sentiment is extremely low across the board, just makes me more hopeful that we are that close to something really popping off. We looked at, or well, I saw today things were doing rather well, in Pulse land anyway. So yeah, I'm good. I'm hanging in there. For a lot of people who haven't been here before, it's rough. It's mentally taxing, exhausting. Name it. Keep naming them on what it does to your psyche, and it's true. So, but knowing that there is another side of this that people will come out of, hopefully, is worth the wait for me. So
you said something interesting there, and that's going to get us kind of right into this whole thing. You said, like, for people that haven't been here before, and this is what it's like. This is pretty objectively like the worst stretch ever. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that's an opinion statement, but this is pretty goddamn bad. Like, and I know there's been like time. I know crypto used to be more the Wild West and things like that, but for people that have held altcoins, or DCA'd into, even if they didn't hold them, but like have DCA'd into them over this bear bull market. I mean, it's really been a bull market for Bitcoin only. At this point, that's pretty much true. It's been pretty horrible. Like, they've never really been in profit. It's been a disaster. Ethereum's been a disaster. There's no way that Ethereum, now, I'm not going to say no way, but I mean, I don't think in 7 weeks we're going to see a significant Ethereum cycle high. And I guess to me, that means like even 7K. I don't think we're seeing that in 7 weeks here. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being salty here or something, but I don't see comparisons to other cycles here, just from what I know of the other ones. I was part of last cycle, obviously, but this is bad. It's bad. I mean, the people are hurting significantly bad, unless you're just a Bitcoin hodler or somebody who just swing trades Bitcoin or just has stacked Satoshis and is a Bitcoin maxi. I mean, you haven't really done well at all. So,
and even the Bitcoin guys haven't done that well. Yeah, I mean, if you got in at the 15K bottom, you've done okay. But how many of those were there? We always talk about how many people actually buy the bottom, how many people actually sell the top. There's just not that many. I think, though, that 7 weeks is a long time. And, I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion now that the end of the year is probably not it. We are going into the first quarter with all the quantitative tightening and things like that are ending. All of the good things that are, coming with the economy getting better, with the large amounts of printing money by the Fed. There's a lot of things that are kind of playing out, and yes, it's going to be delayed. But I said this last week too. The more and more predictable that a 4-year cycle becomes, the worse it gets, because everybody's expecting something. So yes, now we're expecting it. Where is it? If it was like this the last 3-4 cycles now, why isn't it like it now? Well, that's because everyone expects it. And in order for a bull market to be successful, you've got to wash people out. You have to. In the past, things have happened before that either lost people a shit ton of money, and kind of capitulated them that way, or they got hacked, or exchanges went down, or there's always been a really crazy black swan event. Even in my first cycle, it was the whole BitConnect and all the lending protocols that all went down, and then the next cycle it was the FTX getting hacked. Like, there are things that happen that set things off in a direction. And like I said, when things become too predictable, they have to change, because if the market sentiment is all on the same thing and all have the same idea and they're just waiting, there's nothing that's going to happen. It can't work that way. You have to create that FOMO, and something has to trigger this where people got to get out, and then they end up having to buy back higher. That sets a lot of this off. So
yeah,
that's why I think it's different. It is different this time, and it is going to be a little bit more extended because so many people were planning for what we thought was going to happen too.
Well, it's definitely the one thing you said that I don't see how you can debate is that it's different. Whether it is the good scenario that you just painted, which I think in my heart of hearts believe in, or we're done already and we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Either way, those are both very different. Maybe not as far as just Bitcoin is concerned. It's not overly different, but that's the thing with a lot of these like mainstream crypto Bitcoin only accounts and everything. They don't really care about the rest of crypto. So they're not really thinking about Ethereum. It's like, oh, your alt didn't pump. I mean, no skin off my nose. I'm just looking at Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Which I think that's like a significant missed opportunity for them. I'm not saying they should be investing in anything else. It's whatever they want to do, but how do you not see like a large sector of I get it. People separate Bitcoin from cryptocurrency, and hell, I mean, I guess we should at this point. One's co-opted by institutions now. You know what I mean? And that's just where we're at. So we're going to get into this from a million different angles. We already are. So let's just get to the prices real quick right now. So we have seen massive volatility, obviously to the downside for Bitcoin this week. Went down to a major key number that a lot of people have been calling out of about 98K yesterday. I don't think it quite got to 98K flat, but it did go under 100K for sure. Moving back up today, probably dead cat bounce will be at 75K here in a couple days. But Bitcoin pushing towards 104K right now. We have ETH at 3430. Obviously, when everything fell yesterday, it just went through everything like a hot knife through butter, because that's just how Ethereum is these days. It sucks balls. But it's at 3,400, trying to get back to hopefully the 3,800 area, so it can just go back down to like 2,600 or something probably. So that's where we're at. What do you, I don't know. I mean, what do you make of it? I mean, it's obviously it's scaring the shit out of people. Mainstream crypto sentiment. There's this weird thing happening. Like, I don't think it could be more bearish. Like most people that are, advocates of the 4-year cycle who never actually define what they mean by the 4-year cycle or even know what it is they're talking about, I don't think, when they say it, are saying it's all over and this and that because they're only looking at Bitcoin. I think they're, married more so to time frames that they're kind of fabricating and not really just looking at like macroeconomics right now. But what do I know? We're failures for 4 years. But it's wild to me. And keep in mind too, like the sentiment on Twitter, there's been no retail in this market, this entire, whatever this even is, bull market, bear market, if you're in Ethereum or anything else, but there's been no retail. They've never been here. So while you used to be able to use sentiment on Twitter maybe as like, oh, wow, look what everybody's thinking. Well, this is all, to take a popular phrase, what many people say now, like PvP. I mean, these are all people that have been in this market, probably were here in 2021, for even if they just bought the top. And it's all those people just kind of infighting. So I don't even know how seriously to take a lot of the opinions, because these are all people that have just been here and seen it before, even though this is different. So I know I'm just saying a lot of shit, but what do you think about all this?
Well, so I said to you earlier, I think the retail, or not the retail, but the big investors, the corporations, all the ETFs, the major funding has been stifling this for some reason or another. I know there were massive liquidations again the other day. People had long set up, they got liquidated on this price wick. Then people continued to short it, and then this happened, and you get the, so they're washing people out left and right. I mean, it's happening. There are billions of dollars that have been lost on, you take this candle alone back here on October 10th, I guess it was. People got liquidated there severely. And then yesterday, again, between these two candles on the 3rd and 4th, also liquidated. People put in more shorts thinking it was going to continue to go, and it goes up. So people's emotions are really being messed with. The traders, the leverage traders are getting annihilated. They're not going to let those guys continue to ride one way or another. The exchanges know what positions are held, and they will liquidate them. They do not want to see somebody put a long in at 98,000 and have it run up to 200. They just don't. They won't let it happen. So until that stuff where the super longs and the shorts and things like that are done, I really don't see it doing anything, unfortunately. So again, I think the bigger investors, though, have been doing exactly what we said. They will buy OTC. So you don't see the price go up. Then they sell on the market, directly on the market, on the exchanges, and the price goes down. So that's how they're controlling it. It's not really, I don't think it's trading bots or anything crazy like that. Is they buy OTC, price is not affected. Then when it runs up, they have the ability to knock it back down so that they can keep buying more, and more people get washed out. So again, something else that I had said to you is I don't think that these guys, these big investors are ready for the kind of volatility that comes with a full-on bear market. I just don't. Something tells me, that they'll be washed out too. The people that are buying these ETFs thinking that it's long-term, no big deal. But when they see a 50-60% drop, I don't know. I don't know how many of them are going to stick with it. So, MicroStrategy could be the only one that does, because Saylor, knows what it's all about. But as for some of these other ones, I seriously doubt their longevity in this space. I really do.
Yeah, well, good points there. Real quick, and I don't want to get way too into it, but explain OTC real quick, because we actually you talked about it a couple weeks ago, and we just had a comment. I should have sent it to you, but a comment on a video the other day where somebody was asking what that actually means. So if you could explain that real quick.
OTC is over the counter. Basically, you find somebody that's willing to sell off the market, off the exchange. They have a big bag of 1,000 Bitcoin. They're willing to sell you at a price, and you buy it. There are no markets affected because it's a one-on-one. Obviously, you find somebody that's willing to facilitate that trade, where you send the USDC, they hold both, and then exchange it, and you get the swap. So there are no exchanges that are affected. The price doesn't go up when you get a major buy like that of thousands of Bitcoin at a time. The price will go up. Obviously, the market, the people that have the sell orders in, get filled, eaten up, it goes to the next level. They get filled, eaten up, it goes to the next level. That's what makes the price go up. But with an OTC over-the-counter trade, you don't have any of that, because it's PvP, player versus player. Yeah. I'm selling you my Bitcoin for USDC. It's even. There's no markets. There's no order books that are getting filled or anything like that. So that is what OTC really means. It's just a one person saying, I'm going to buy this from you and you're going to sell it to me. And that's exactly what it is.
I think another thing that you said that does make a lot of sense, especially because the institutions are in such control of Bitcoin now compared to how it used to be, is wiping out all these long traders and stuff like that. Like you want to get all these people completely wrecked beyond belief, so you can buy as low as possible and ruin them, basically. And the only people that the only people staying are like delusional freaks like us, basically, that have the kind of understanding of what real cryptocurrency is, what real DeFi is, and stuff like that, that are just not going to go away pretty much no matter what. That, either do extremely well in the end of all this, or I don't know. I wait longer. I really don't know what else to say. But
Well,
yeah.
something else interesting that you kind of said there, DeFi, we are way early in DeFi. We Everybody in the Richard Hart ecosystem, I believe, is so more educated than most of the other crypto space, just because of the things that have been created, the knowledge that he has passed along, watching 6-8 hour long live streams of him just spitting facts and educating his people, right? So many of these things the regular markets don't even know they need, or they don't understand it enough to provide liquidity. And Hex being one of the very few trustless yield components that are out there. Everybody thinks, well, I got to put it over here to get a little bit of yield. They still don't understand the concepts that have been created here, I think. And we are very much ahead of the rest of the game. I really think that's the case. And unfortunately, we kind of have to wait for them to catch up. It doesn't mean we can't have a good bull run. It just means that the masses of people that don't know. They don't know what they don't know, right? So I just think we're very much ahead of the curve for most things, and it will catch on eventually. Like I said, and that doesn't mean that I don't think we're not going to have a bull run. I don't think that things aren't going to go up. I'm talking about massive retail understanding what we've got over here is pretty special, and we're so undervalued right now. And it's like showing up to a party an hour before it starts. There's just really not a whole lot going on, and it seems kind of dead. And then you leave, and then guess what? It's the party of the century. So I kind of feel like that's where we are with the rest of crypto. Is that, yes, I did call us educated, and I think we are. I think this group of people is very intelligent and very motivated, and there's a lot of just fantastic developers even out there that are here, and they're only developing on Pulse Chain. And I think we have some very special things coming in the near future.